game this year. You guys
Right.
beat us this year, 28-27, last second game.
Right.
It was a good game, good
It
comeback.
was an
Like I said,
excellent
folks,
game.
it was a great game, so I
Right.
enjoyed that. Your kids at Sanji, do you ever, does Chafee ever come after you? So big game coming up, Chafee, might be Beach's last year. Just heard Blumenthal said Hadaway's back, had been out. You remember who Coach Hadaway is, right?
Right.
Some of your Centennial guys go there, Norco guys go there back. But 50 years he's been coaching. 50 years.
Beach has been a great coach. And
does he ever come to you?
And he has come to me. I've had a great relationship with Coach Beach. I've known him for quite some years. I wanted my son to go to Chafee. He didn't end up going there. They did end up getting 2 of our kids this past year. Jamie Snowden is a running back for him. Rushed for 90 yards this past week. And Monroe Oakfield is a guy who played quarterback for us and played wide receiver, and both are playing for Chafee this year. And both are doing an excellent job.
Now, how about San Rio Valley? Got any boys from San G?
I'm sure we got a few. I don't know right offhand
exactly,
which ones, but I think.
So he still came over
that.
boundaries to see that, to see the guys that Carl would bring guys over. So it's a big recruiting.
Right.
He's coming to our area, and that's the one thing Emerson said he wanted to focus on, which I'm going to get into with our next interview and the different stuff. On what he's looking, he felt that there's enough talent here in the SAL and the CBL to compete in the state.
Well, Coach Emerson, I think, is correct, and he's done a great job since he's come over. They won some games. Coach Meach is an outstanding football coach, too. I had the pleasure of working with Coach Meach at RCC. So both of them together, I think, have done a great job in trying to change the atmosphere here and get it back where it used to be, and I think they're heading in the right direction.
So you were at Myers, right? You were with Myers so I didn't know that. Little tidbit, I thought I knew everything about you. Didn't know you were an RCC guy back
I was with Coach Brown.
So you've done the JC.
Yeah, I did the JC for 2 years with Coach Brown, and loved JC football. In fact, even worked with a guy by the name of Jim Fenwick, who was a great football coach. Ended up being the offensive coordinator at New Mexico later on at Pierce College in Woodland Hills. So I've done the JC job twice now.
Wow. So I've done it too. I love it. JC football's great stuff. I mean, big game coming up, like I said. And I think it's that's the one thing, what Blumenthal told me, Smelly told me, is that when the guys, when Beach went over, is when Chafee started being competitive. And the 210 freeway didn't help. Because before he said Smedley's selling point was, hey, you got to drive 40 minutes. So you got to go from the freeway of the 10 up all the way to Chafee. You ain't got gas money. So he'd use that line. But another thing he used too, and I hope you look at when you send your kids to Chafee, and I'm sure Chafee does a good job because the one kid's also playing out of Narco. It's playing at Nebraska. Another kid at SC. So tight end guys. So they do a good job getting guys to the next level. And that's the key, I think Blumenthal and Smedley said, was how many guys are going to the 4 years? You know, and I'm sure you've got a ton of great, greatest coaching moments. Winning the state championship had to be one of them, right?
Oh, well, winning the state championship was huge. And,
I was at that game. It was a big time.
And then those years at Crespi.
Concord de La Salle, one of the few teams to take down the legends in the last 20 years.
That was a great football game that we played down to the wire. Had the chance to coach a lot of great football players that are playing at the next level now at Corona Centennial. A guy just called me the other day that you might remember, Derek Ward, who I coached at Valley View. He was a running back, and if you remember,
were you with Stan Hunt and the boys at Valley View down there?
Yeah, I know Stan from the Valley View days
and
a
also
little
from
bit.
The Centennial.
But I took over as the head coach there, and when Coach Brohart went to Idaho State.
That's right.
So I took over there, and Derek Ward was part of Earth, Wind, and Fire when the New York Giants had 3 running backs that rushed for 1,000 yards. He was one of those guys.
Wow.
And so Derek just called me yesterday, in fact, and he was another great running back that I had. So like I said, I've been blessed.
Coach.
You know, a lot of times, you might want to consider yourself a good football coach, but it's always nice when you have some great talent.
You know what? You must have been, I mean, do you do a vision drill? I mean, doing that as a running back coach, that's the one thing I did. I did running backs for a little bit, but not even at the level. You had so many guys that go to that Division I, but vision drills. I mean, the guys that have that vision that can go to that next level, I think a lot of coaches at the running back don't teach that. You know, they got natural ability, but what do you think that's different than the other guys?
I don't know if I do anything different from the other guys. You know, I try to learn from the college guys and the pro guys. I've been blessed to be around those guys. I've been invited to a lot of camps. What I think I'm able to do is let a running back be him, meaning that sometimes, you ask a guy to run a play a certain way. And I used to remember back in the day when I played with Wendell Tyler, and I can give you a prime example. We used to run option, and you had to have an aiming point and everything else, and you were on that aiming point, and then he would run that aiming point and wouldn't make a yard. He would, and then he would run on that aiming point. He should have made 5, and the coaches would yell at him, and then the next time there was no aiming point again, and he'd go 60. And what I try to teach a running back is that you just got to be comfortable in your own skin. Gotcha. And you got to be the kind of football player you could be, and you got to just make plays. And the bottom line is, when a kid feels like he can make a mistake, but yet he's not going to get chewed out, because these guys are special. I don't think you can make a running back. No. They're born to be running backs, and those guys were born to be running backs, and they were real special guys. And I just try to make them comfortable in being the kind of running back they were.
A couple questions real quick, too. Okay. UCLA, 2 great coaches, Terry
right.
Donahue, Dick Vermeil.
Right.
What did you learn from them, and are they a reason you became a coach down the
way? I'm going to tell you, there's no doubt Terry Donahue was a big influence on my life. I was only there with Dick Vermeil for 1 year, but what I learned about Dick was, number one, he was very organized, he was very structured, and he was very passionate, and I learned that from them. Terry Donahue gave me an opportunity because he was a walk-on just like I was, and
little sentimental thing, and he thought.
I'm going to tell you, I love Terry Donahue with all my heart. There's no doubt I wouldn't be a football coach if it wasn't for him, and he gave me a golden opportunity there. He told me I just had to work hard, and I did everything he asked me to do, and there were a lot of good things that happened for me at UCLA. Unfortunately, I got injured towards the end of my career where I could have played more, but it was a great experience. And not only was it a great experience because it was UCLA, but there were a ton of coaches who Coach Brooks, who ended up coaching in Oregon and Kentucky, and Dwayne Painter, who ended up being offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Colts. And wow. I could go on and on with guys who I was fortunate enough to be around and learn a ton of football from.
So most proud of sending guys to 4 years, I'm sure. That's
yes.
got to be a huge thing. Being a life coach, I think that's right. the main thing all of us coaches are, because there's so many other aspects we do as right. coaches that a lot of people don't understand.
Right.
We don't do it for the money.
Right.
Lord knows that.
That's for sure.
Not 5 cents an hour. We don't do that. Okay, and God, and our women.
You make that much?
And any women, and any woman that would stay with a coach, God bless her. Right?
Oh, that's true too. Okay. We're blessed there.
God bless them.
Yeah.
So, but on that note, I mean, what's your most notable, and I want to ask you one more question before I get into that too. What did you think about Fontana when you had to come and play Brewick and those guys?
Oh, we thought they were great. I mean,
were you intimidated? Was there something about
I don't think we were intimidated.
Not having a Russell White.
I don't think we were intimidated because we were playing quality football teams.
A lot of respect for them, right?
But we had a ton of respect. And I'm going to tell you, I've had a great relationship with Dick.
Okay.
Coach Brewick has treated me awfully well, too. And you have to understand that when I first became a head coach, there was a little skepticism, especially because I didn't have a teacher credential at the time. So I was hired as a guy without a teaching credential back in the day when that was unheard of.
Gotcha.
Now you start to hear a lot more of it.
Sure.
And Dick has always treated me with the utmost respect, and I have nothing but great admiration for him. He's a terrific guy and a great football coach.
Good to hear that. So, and Logan, you brought Logan on, and look at that. And that was great. So, and what Smelly told me that I think was kind of interesting too, you got to know how to hire great assistants.
All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I think one of my best skills is being able to recognize a guy who's special or that has some talent and being able to put him in the right position. Sometimes you can have guys and you don't know what to do with them.
Sure.
And I think I've had a great eye on recognizing that a guy has great potential because I hired Matt as a very young assistant and not only hired him as a young assistant, but then decided to make him a defensive coordinator, and he did a terrific job.
But he played for Campbell, came out of the Norco program, good stuff. But could you see the passion? Is that dedication and passion?
Well, I had an interview with him, and after I interviewed with him, there was no doubt in my mind that he was a special guy and that if I gave him my opportunity, he would do special things with that program, and he certainly did.
And one last thing on that, what set you guys apart, I think, like what Fontana and them guys and Eisenhower did in the 80s, what you guys did to make you guys the team to be in the Inland Empire was you took the Giants down. I mean, you took Concord de La Salle down. They
Right.
For 12 years they owned it.
Right.
And you guys were the ones that took them down. I mean, and whether they got 3 losses or 4 losses like that ever, in a state thing. So for you guys to do that, got to be one of the high points, right?
Oh, it definitely was.
You guys sipped the adult soda pop that night or two? Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't drink.
God
so
bless
yeah,
you then.
I
There you
did
go.
have a
Apple juice and
no,
cranberry.
I did have a Pepsi.
All right. Well, then a Pepsi.
I did have a
that
Pepsi.
carbon can you never know.
Yeah.
You never
Okay.
know.
I had to cut down.
I
too,
got
'cause,
you. I got to
really
cut down on
fat.
something too when I see myself on camera. But anyway, so I'm a special coach too, special ed. Okay,
Right.
and I'm working on doing that. I love the game. I'm passionate. I'm and I'm glad that you came and were able to be our guest tonight. And any other thing you want to share with us about? What's one of your specialist moments other than the state championship? That, you think?
I'm going to say that
The guy calling you like just guys that don't forget about you.
well, the St. John Bosco championship at Crespi was super, being that we played in Anaheim Stadium.
Okay.
You don't get that chance to do that many times, and that was a
1985,
special win.
86.
And I've had over 200 poly scholarship athletes. And
Was that the first CIF championship win for you?
That was the first one, yes.
As a coach?
As a coach.
See, that is
As
a special
coach.
moment. You remember those
and I'm going
moments.
to tell you, that was just a super thrill. And I just like to say I've just been fortunate. And I love coaching high school football. I think the key word you used was passionate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very passionate, and I'm still trying to teach kids the right things. Like you said, we're life coaches.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to leave this game.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Gonna be hard to
And
win
I
this
love
game.
the game too, and I appreciate it. I'm glad I got coaches that educate me because I sometimes lose that passion and get negative. And a lot of coaches do that. We know that we got to stay positive.
Right.
We are actually role models too, and whether you think about it sometimes. I got some good friends that'll be interviewing down the way here, and I'm sure they try to keep me in check too. But Coach Gueringer, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure, and